Hello, welcome once again to your favorite political program, Point View with Lady Funke. It's another edition of the program, and today marks 1 year anniversary of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And to do justice to this show, we have an erudite scholar, an educationist, a politician, a businessman, an elder statesman, Lord Moye. You're welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sir, it's 1 year of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's program, administration. So far, so good. What can you say about the administration, sir?
Well, the administration has started off, it started off stuttering, but now I think it's stabilizing. Like every administration that comes in, you come with a lot of good ideas, but you don't know what will happen along the line. Personally, I still think that the dual effects of removal of petroleum subsidy and diffusion of exchange rates were a little bit hasty. They were things that were supposed to be done, but there were certain processes that were supposed to precede the implementation of those policies. That is what we are reeling from now. But with time, I noticed that a lot of things are happening to cushion the effects. There are now CNG, there's a policy for the government to import any CNG cars. There are different stations now that are working on the CNG program. And I think a lot of mass transit buses have been brought in to cushion the effects. And like I said, I know that these are policies that are supposed to take place. The removal of subsidy was inevitable, but there were things that are supposed to have been done before the subsidy was removed. The floating of the exchange of the naira, I think, in the short run, it has helped in increasing the allocations to the various tiers of government, and it is now left to the subnationals to make sure that these increased allocations to them are used for the benefit of the people. Unfortunately, most of them see it as a windfall, which they are not using for the benefit of the people, but to make sure that the traumatized people are still the money. That is the problem we have now.
So, in all you've said now, it seems like the policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu are yielding positive results.
Of course, yes.
Okay. He promised, on assumption to office, he promised renewed hope. Do you think though he has been able to give Nigerians that hope that we are yearning for?
You see, there is, when you have a hopeless situation like we were having, we were drifting aimlessly in the past. There are prices to be paid for hope to be renewed. When you have a terminal disease and you are taking some medicines that will only give you a placebo effect, that will only make you feel that you are getting better, but you know that you are going to die. It is quite different from when you know you have to go undergo some painful processes for you to be able to have that hope to live again. So that is the renewed hope that I think that we are working towards. The policies, the things that are happening now are painful, but it's going to renew the hope of Nigerians in Nigeria as a nation.
As a nation,
Yes.
we are going towards the second year
Yes.
of this administration.
We
What should
will.
we be expecting?
I think in the second year of the administration, we should expect that some of these policies will mature. We expect that some of the mistakes will be corrected along the line. And I know that there is no government anywhere that comes with the intention of inflicting pain on its people. Every government comes in with the intention of improving the lot of the people that they govern. And I'm quite sure that at the end of the day, in the second year, the results of these surgeries will be seen positive.
Coming down to Oshun now, sir, how can you assess the administration of Senator Ademola Adeleke for the past going to 2 years now? How can you assess his administration based on social development, education, health, and workers' welfare? How can you assess his administration, sir?
So let me say one thing. There's infrastructural development. My own grounds is with the opacity of the processes leading to this development and the need for these developments where they are and the opportunity cost of these developments. Now there's visible infrastructural development from the building of new roads, flyovers, and co. But again, what is the process? How do you award contracts of that nature to people who are not known to have proven expertise in this? How was it advertised? How much was put in the budget for it? All these things are being done retroactively. You know, we see that, okay, for example, you asked for the need for this infrastructure. Apart from beautifying places that people are going to visit and give you hope for re-election, there is nothing that is really going to positively affect the people of the state itself. Osho is a rural agrarian state, and I think that all this is just like putting the cat before the horse. What is happening in agriculture? What is the technical competence of those handling these roads? Why do we need them? I've read in some places that the roads are actually unnecessary, apart from the aesthetic value. The core values are not there. How much will it cost to provide tractors, plows, harrows, ridgers to the rural communities? Officially, we have 31 local governments. Let's even assume that you spend 40 million naira per agricultural equipment. It will still give you just about 1.5 billion naira. How much does the road cost? Why do we need a flyover at Okefia and Lameko? Why? Why don't we divert a portion, a minimal portion of the cost of these roads to bringing food from the rural areas and making rural roads accessible? I understand that 56 roads have been awarded now. Who have the roads been awarded? Who have the roads been awarded to? At what cost? You find out roads of 1.5 kilometers being awarded for about 1.2 billion naira, 1.5 billion naira, which consists of about 100 million naira for each kilometer of road. It is sheer madness. It is sheer madness. Whereas if you had used this money to build access roads to the farms that will bring the food into into the urban areas, we would have said it's good. For the infrastructural development here, yes, there is infrastructural development, but what is going to be the effect on the people? How is it going to affect the farmer coming from Ifetedu to Oshobo when it joins a good road from the old garage to Lameko and enter Lameko? Apart from the government house, I don't see any other serious thing on this road that demands that kind of thing. Just a little percentage will have gone into agriculture. Nothing. This is the rainy season. This is the planting season. What is going on in rural areas? The speed at which these roads have been awarded, if we had used that same speed to import or provide the rural areas with tractors, you can imagine. Let me give you a personal example. I gave part of my farm to somebody and I asked him yesterday, how far have you gone with the plan? He said, that he's always looking for the people who are going to bring tractors. When they come in with the tractors, they say something is wrong, something is bad, but they are not Ocean State tractors. So they do the roads, they do the farms piecemeal. So, and how do you now do these things piecemeal? Labor is very difficult to get. I mean, there is opportunity cost of that infrastructural development, and the cost is too high, too exorbitant, that we have the suspicion that these inflated costs are meant to help in financing the elections in 2026, which should not be the case. A good statesman should think of the future of his people, not his own re-election.
That are you saying that these present administrations are inspiring, not progressive, compared to what you just said?
You see, for now, I have not seen any shining example from
the commissioners or from what is being done in the states. From the very beginning, I felt that the composition of the executive council was too bloated in such a way that you could not have quality memos being debated by that exco. How do you go about employing 25 commissioners, 45 special advisors? What you are, even in schools, you have tutorial classes, you have lecture classes. Tutorial classes are meant to be smaller. So instead of having a chairman of commissioners, the very need for the chairman of commissioners means that it is too unwieldy for the government who is supposed to chair the ESCO to be the chairman of the commission. The chairman of the commission should be the governor. But when you now have that number, you will see that people have been appointed based on their loyalty to particular persons in a particular family, and not because of the competence or the kind of quality inputs they are going to have in the executive committee. For now, somebody was asking, we should ask, why are matches being played outside the stadium? What does it cost to regrass Oshobo Stadium? What does it cost to reintroduce school sports? What does it cost to reintroduce school farms? What does it cost? So right now, I don't, in fact, most of the people who have been appointed don't even know the kind of things they are supposed to do in the jobs into which they have been appointed. The only thing I have seen, which I must give credence to, is that because the government itself is still based on propaganda as if they are still looking for re-election, is the media outreach of the government that is making noise that is not substantiable. So that is my own assessment of the government. I mean, I can't even regard them with commissioners. Those days you go to a quiz competition and they ask you who is commissioner for this, who is commissioner for that. You dare not ask any child that now because he will not know. He wouldn't know. And it won't be his fault. It is too unwieldy. You have special advisors, cabinet rank. You have special advisors who are not cabinet rank. What is the meaning of that? There is a lot of leakage in revenue collection. Who can actually give us the revenue that has been collected in Osun? The revenue consultants are those who are close to government. You put them on the roads. There is no e-payment. They declare what they have collected, and you see that your revenues remain the same, the static, or just going up a little bit. A lot of things are wrong. A lot of things. In the Ministry of Agriculture, I don't even know what is going on. The explanation will tell you that, okay, you are not close to government, so because of that, you don't know what is going on. But I don't have to be close to government to see the effects of the government working. I don't have to be close to government. If you had a smaller EXCO, initially I felt that we shouldn't have an EXCO of more than 9, which represent each federal constituency, because I always hear the chairman of the party of the PDP saying that federal constituencies actually chose who they appointed. Yes, there are 9 federal constituencies. Assuming without considering that these are the 9 people that have emerged from the federal constituencies, how did the other 16 emerge? Assuming without considering that the 9 came from elections of nominations for the federal constituency, how did the 45 other central advisors emerge? Now you have a lot of essays, SSAs, whose portfolios you don't even know. They are distributing letters of essays, SSAs, as if they are Jehovah's Witness tracts being handed over to people. No sense of responsibility, no duties, no vertical or horizontal integration in the administration, the organogram of the various ministries. You just find somebody today giving a position of essay. Essay what? SSA what? To do what? How will he relate with those who are in the office? Who are those he's supposed to superintend? Because a political office holder is supposed to work together with the civil servants. What function of the civil service falls under his purview that he has to relate with? Other than using that one to flaunt around that an SSA and print complimentary cards, what exactly does the SSA do? So you cannot expect anything inspiring from anybody.
as an education,
Yeah.
what can you say about the educational policy of Senator Ademola Adeleke? Considering the fact that he just did recruitment for teachers, what can you say about the whole process and where we are in education?
Well, I think from the reports I have so far, a lot of teachers in the educational sectors are disgruntled. It is good that teachers are to be recruited. I'm not sure they have been recruited because the delay could be because they want to know what the new minimum wage will be for them to be able to know who and who to recruit. But I think ordinarily these are things that are supposed to have been done before you even talk of recruitment. Even if you wanted a stopgap, you could have used that money to continue to retain the OES or translate it to AES if you want to, and get them to teach on that little salary instead of paying that normal salary to the various SSAs without portfolio. What I call them are OES SSAs because the money that is supposed to be used for OES is what is not being used to pay the SSAs. And the teachers, the schools are understaffed. The schools are grossly understaffed. Most of these schools need fencing for the discipline. You cannot actually discipline a child who has who has free ingress and egress out of the school without any restraining borders. I think these are the things he's supposed to do. Then the inspection of the teachers has to be worked upon. And again, you can only inspect a teacher that you have uh, considerably empowered. A hungry teacher cannot be controlled. And students who are not under the control of a teacher who is hungry can never give you any good result. So these things go together. The learning environment, I must give kudos to the governments that are before now. I mean, the renovated schools, even though some of the schools were actually not necessary, like the mega schools were not necessary. The money used for the mega schools can be used to renovate all the schools and not putting up schools that do not have enough students or maintenance. There are some schools now that you don't even have enough students to occupy them. If that money was used, I mean, because when you drive in, yes, you see some of the schools outside, they look very good. But I mean, I was made to understand that inside the facilities are rapidly deteriorating.
Okay, sir. Let's still on governance. Recently, in one of your interview, another radio station, you talked about the state drive on mining. And mining is supposed to be one of those sectors that is supposed to improve the IGR of the state. What can you say about that? What is your view about that again, sir?
You see, actually, the mining sector is still on the exclusive list of the government, which is that the only the federal government has control over it. At a point, the government came out with something. It came to a press release that Oshun is now a shareholder in Segilola. I took my time to find out. When you talk of shareholding, you talk of ownership, part ownership of a business. What is the share capital of Segilola? How was the shareholding of Oshun acquired? What percentage of it was acquired? Was it paid for in cash or in goodwill? The only thing I came up with was that the provenance of Segilola actually can only be linked to a family that is very close to the family in government. Number two is that, yes, as for regulation, government has to regulate the, the mining process. But even in the brochure of Segilola, it is expressly stated that they do open field, open pit mining, which means there will always be excavation and it's going to degrade the environment. What has been put in place to mitigate the effects of the devastation that you are going to have on those fields? Those are the things that we are supposed to be talking about. In the first instance, even if there's shareholding, how much profit has been declared? How much of that your percentage of shareholding
Holding comes into Ocean. Those questions have not been answered. And who is representing Oshun on the board of Segilola?
There is an essay on mining. You are talking about the representative of the state government in that board. So there's an essay on mining. Why is it not representing the state government?
Why is the chief of staff representing the state government? Official matters should be handled by the secretary to the state government. The chief of staff, even though it's a new creation, is not a constitutional position. It is assumed that the chief of staff is a personal aide to the governor of the state. So if you are putting a chief of staff in charge of state assets, there is something wrong. There is something wrong. And you see, mining is such a technical thing. It is very, very technical that if you don't understand what is going on there, you will not know what is happening. The open pit mining that they are using is primitive. It is going to pollute the environment and devastate the environment. Because ordinarily, if you, after digging, you have to wash in water to sieve the gold. There is no, in fact, that is one of the methods. So there is no way the runoff from that sieving will not enter into the waters. So that method is one, archaic. Number two is deliberately, the technology is deliberately archaic so that nobody can actually monitor what is going on. They will only take what is given to them and they will hide under the cover that mining falls for now under the exclusive list. I have not seen it showing. Maybe I have not checked. I have not seen the accruals from the process of mining showing in the IGR of the state.
Okay, sir. Sir, lastly, before we go into politics, recently a chieftain of the All Progressive Party, All Progressive Congress, Prince Ademola Adeleke, popularly known as Banik, accused or alleged the state government of collecting huge amounts of money since they assumed office to the tune of 302 billion naira. And yet, it has not shown in the state's infrastructural development, educational sector, and even on the welfare of the state workers. What can you say about that, sir?
I would not say alleged because if you say alleged, it means that maybe he took the figures from the air. But the figures that I have seen computed are figures of accruals coming to the state government and the local governments. So it's the totality of what comes into the state. The funds of the local governments, by constitutional design, has been put under the governors. Because this idea of joint allocation committee gives governors the right to sit down with the states and with the local governments to decide what goes to the local governments. Ideally, the JAC funds are supposed to be made up of accruals to the local government plus 10% of what comes from the state. But the reverse is the case now. Go to most local governments. I can see that the only people benefiting from the local government administration now are perhaps the caretaker chairman and their chairman. Most local governments cannot tar a single kilometer of road today. When you see monies coming in, 200 million naira coming to a local government, and a chairman says that only about 9 million naira comes to him, where is the balance? You say, okay, you used to do this, you used to do that. Even these roads we are talking about, 1.5 kilometer roads, should be local government roads. They are trunk C roads. They are not state roads. So, I told you where the money is going to. Inflated contract costs. That is where the money is. What are they going to do with that inflated contract cost? To satisfy different arms of government and persons. That is where the money is likely to be going to. Because I think there is a serious collusion now between civil servants and politicians. Because there's no single politician who can steal money without the civil servants. Especially in the Ministry of Works now, you will see that it is the Ministry of Works that are supposed to prepare the basic bill of quantities. And bill of quantities is where stealing starts from. If you do a bill of quantities and you decide to allot a lot of money to certain certain items, you will have backed up everything you're going to spend. For example, if you say excavation and removal of debris, who is going to follow you to where you are going to excavate? When you are given, we are going to bring in 20 loads of sand at so and so cost. Who inspects?
Who counts?
The other question is this: when you don't have competitive bidding, because that is what the Public Procurement Act says, that for every contract there should be an open competitive bidding for you to be able to get the best cost for the contract. Unfortunately, when questions are asked now, you give contracts to people whose state addresses are old buildings that have not been used for long in Agate, in Ede. You give contracts to companies that are described as cyber cafes and what do you call it? Fertilizer distribution. It is not as if you are talking of a Julius Berger or RCC or any of these Solar Bonnet or whatever. You are talking of people who are just going to start. And when you come to the roads, you find out that a lot of them are afraid to even label the equipment they are using with the names of the companies. Whereas, when the PDP was in government, previously, under Inola, I must say this for him, under the due process thing, you must have a registered office in Oshun, and you must have a list of machinery and the address of where your company is. They will now come and assess the machinery that you have. These ones appear to be doing their things in the middle of the night using people's machinery so that you will not see the machines they are using. The piling machines that have been used, people have complained about them, but where were the machines procured? So the problem in most of these cases is that when you don't have machinery and you give it that kind of contract, you will now go and start using the money you are supposed to use to execute a contract to go and procure machinery. And because you don't want to procure machinery and you want that job delivered because of the outcry, it only means you are going to rent, and you are only going to rent from those people who know where they are, who are public servants. Public servants are people who have been doing these contracts, who you have refused to give the contracts to in the state. So you use their equipment without giving them their contracts. So they are the ones who know people who are going to supply, because they have produced the bill of quantities, they know the number of items to be supplied on site. It is unfortunate, it's quite unfortunate. The kind of things going on are not the kind of things I expected from a party to which I once belonged. I used to think that if you want to steal, you have to steal intelligently.
So coming to politics now, until recently you were a chieftain of the People Democratic Party. In fact, it was said that you've never left the party for any other party. Why did you join the APC this time around? What informed your decision, sir?
Let me say one thing here, that my decision to leave the PDP was a very painful one. But a painful surgery that I had to take for my own well-being. I had never thought that I will ever be a member of the APC. But on second thoughts, I have come to realize that what we have now is not PDP. What we have now is a party that belongs to a family in a particular town in the state. And by nature, unfortunately, that is why I was a member of the PDP. I'm a Democrat. I don't believe in being dictated to by an all-knowing super being without debating the choices we have. Naturally, in a political party, there is going to be contest. That is why, if you call it democracy, you're talking of choices. And when you're talking of choices, it means that different people will have to come out to contest an election, either within or without the party. After the emergence of Ademola Adeleke in the first elections in 2018, we had a party chairman who made sure that those of us who were not in his camp then were integrated into joint committees. I served on two committees. I served on the security committee, headed by Professor Akinemichu from Ife. I served on the media and strategy that was headed by Dr. Oladimichi. Even long before candidates emerged, we belonged to a strategy committee with some people who are now in government. Because we knew that we had to get the best candidate. People were always coming out. The crime now in PDP was that if you don't follow the dictates of that particular family, you are not a member of the party. I wasn't, in fact, all my nerves are against that kind of a thing. I think for my own mental well-being, I had to leave them to enjoy their victory. Because they have won, and they were riding roughshod over everybody. And the people in power felt that any other person was immaterial to their party. How many of them? If I wanted anything, I would have as well gone back to meet the rulers of the party. I won't say the leaders, the rulers, because we know the rulers. There are three of them. Even out of the three, only two are effective. I would have gone back there with my hands behind my back and kneeling down and begging them, please don't be angry, I don't know what I was doing. But how will I apologize for something that I was convinced about? I can't apologize for my convictions. So if you feel that we're not members of the party, all well and good. And if you say, okay, we are moles, in fact, when I look at it, I look at them, or those people who use that language as people who did not actually understand the word mole. Because if you are coming from a party to that, okay, by the way, let me just tell you that I went around, I checked the list of all previous governors of the state, living and dead. They are all members, I mean civilians, they have always been, at one time or the other, members of the APC, including the present governor. The present governor was a member of the APC. I know when his elder brother, who was my very good friend, my respected friend, I will not disrespect him, he went to the APC. And then one of the first meeting he had with them was when Ralph Adamola was celebrating his 59th birthday in the government house. So they were all members of the APC. So if the APC, like I tell people, is a postgraduate school that will be recognized in the PDP, let us all go to that postgraduate school. If your presence is not needed somewhere, leave the place. You don't have to beg to be a slave somewhere. I wouldn't beg to be a slave. No way. I would rather suffer the pain of deprivation in a group that feels that they need more people than to stay as a slave in a place where the top leaders and handlers of the party feel that they don't need anybody. So that is why.
Okay, sir. Moving towards 2026 now, the next election year for Osun State. How prepared is your new party for the election and to take over the government from this present Ademola Adeleke's administration?
See, let me say that anybody who knows the profit he will make from his shop in a particular day has known the day he will die. I am going to work for my new party in every capacity I'm asked to work to make sure that the party to which I now belong wins in 2026, no matter what it costs me. Because not working towards victory will mean shooting myself in the leg. We are going to work towards victory. Every loophole, I'm sure, must have been identified by now. It is a party that wants people to come and join them. On the rostrum I did of the campaign, I was surprised to see quite a lot of my friends. I felt at home. I felt very much at home. I thought I was still in my old party. There was hardly anybody on the rostrum that I didn't know.
And even though they say the APC is a party of darkness, I didn't say that.
Instead, what I saw was a group of people, intelligent, committed, brilliant minds, with whom I think I can work conveniently to win the next election. I'm not going there to, I'm not working for any position. I've been in the opposition now for the past 14 years and I've not died. So it doesn't bother me one bit. But I'll do my best. I'll do my best to God.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We've come to the end of today's interview. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you for joining. And we'll be speaking, before we go, we'll be speaking to Dr. Lord Moye. He has done justice to a lot of questions put across to him. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you very much.